Imagine, for a moment, a single law so powerful that it could force the world's largest and most influential technology companies, think OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and beyond, to fundamentally rethink how they design, build, and deploy their most advanced artificial intelligence systems. This isn't a distant science fiction scenario. This is happening right now, right in the heart of Europe. The European Union has set in motion a bold experiment, a sweeping legal framework that aims to shape not only the future of AI in Europe, but potentially the entire world. The question on everyone's mind is, will this fearless move make artificial intelligence safer and more trustworthy, or will it choke off innovation, fragment the global tech landscape, and leave Europe as a digital backwater in the next great technological revolution? Artificial intelligence is no longer just a buzzword or a fleeting trend. In a few short years, AI has quietly become the backbone of the global digital economy. Today, AI's invisible hand powers everything from search engines and financial risk models to personal assistants, supply chains, logistics, smart cities, creative industries, and even advanced medical diagnostics. It is at the heart of drug discovery, climate modeling, precision agriculture, and autonomous vehicles. AI is everywhere, and its footprint is only growing larger by the day. But as artificial intelligence grows more capable, the risks are mounting just as quickly. We face a new era where algorithms can amplify bias, generate misinformation at scale, and enable cyber attacks with unprecedented speed and subtlety. Deepfake videos threaten to sow confusion in democracies. Automated decision systems risk perpetuating discriminations. And there is the chilling possibility that advanced AI models could be misused to develop biological or chemical weapons or orchestrate complex cybercrimes. The stakes, simply put, are enormous. Governments, regulators, and citizens across the globe are racing to catch up, to strike the elusive balance between harnessing AI's promise and curbing its perils. Enter the European Union, a political and economic bloc of 27 countries, home to over 440 million people, with a long tradition of setting global standards. The EU is now blazing a trail with the world's very first comprehensive legal framework for artificial intelligence, the EU AI Act. This groundbreaking law emerged from years of heated debate, consultation, and public concern about the unchecked growth of AI. Its mission? To ensure that AI systems in Europe are not only innovative, but also safe, transparent, and deeply respectful of fundamental rights and European values. As Henna Virkkunen, Executive Vice President for Tech Sovereignty, Security, and Democracy at the European Commission, recently declared, "This code marks an important step in making the most advanced AI models available in Europe not only innovative, but also safe and transparent." The EU's approach stands in striking contrast to that of the United States, where attempts at federal-level AI regulation have repeatedly stalled in Congress. The result has been a patchwork of state-level laws. Texas and Virginia, for instance, have chosen innovation-friendly rules rather than strict oversight. China, meanwhile, is pursuing a different strategy, focusing its regulations on only the most sensitive and high-stakes AI applications, especially those touching on national security or social stability. Europe's message is clear and unapologetic. If you want to bring your AI to our market, you must play by our rules. And those rules are about to become the world's most demanding. So what exactly do these new rules entail? The EU AI Act classifies all AI systems into 4 distinct risk categories: unacceptable, high, limited, and minimal. The higher the risk that an AI system poses to safety, fundamental rights, or society, the tougher the regulatory requirements. Unacceptable risk systems, such as social scoring algorithms or systems used for mass surveillance, are banned outright. High-risk systems, which include AI used in critical infrastructure, hiring decisions, law enforcement, and biometric identification, face strict oversight, mandatory transparency, rigorous testing, detailed documentation, and robust human oversight. To help companies large and small navigate this complex and often intimidating regulatory landscape, the European Commission has just unveiled a voluntary code of practice. This code, which took shape after months of drafting, workshops, and public comment, was crafted by 13 independent experts after hearing from more than 1,000 stakeholders, including developers, industry groups, academics, civil society organizations, and representatives from every EU member state. International observers from public agencies in North America and Asia also participated, making this a truly global exercise in AI governance. The Code of Practice zeroes in on three main areas: transparency, copyright, and safety, each a cornerstone of responsible AI. The Transparency chapter introduces a user-friendly model documentation form designed to help companies show how their AI models work, what data they are trained on, and how they make decisions. This is crucial for building trust with both regulators and the public. The Copyright chapter provides practical guidance for companies to comply with Europe's strict copyright laws, especially in the era of generative AI, where systems like ChatGPT can produce content that may infringe on intellectual property. Finally, the Safety and Security chapter outlines state-of-the-art risk management practices for the most advanced AI models, those with the potential to cause systemic harm, such as enabling fraud, misinformation, or even the misuse of scientific knowledge for malicious purposes. But here is where the real tension begins to simmer. The stakes for compliance are sky-high. The EU is not merely threatening companies with modest fines. Non-compliance can lead to penalties of up to 7% of a company's global annual revenue, or up to 35 million euros, whichever is higher, for each violation. For tech giants with billions in revenue, this is more than a slap on the wrist. It is an existential threat. Unsurprisingly, global players like OpenAI and Google are currently reviewing the code in minute detail, weighing the costs and benefits, and deciding whether to formally sign on. Behind the scenes, there are reports of American tech firms lobbying to soften the code's requirements, or seeking legal interpretations that could make compliance more flexible or even insurable. Some experts are cheering Europe's bold stance. Yoshua Bengio, one of the world's leading AI scientists and a Turing Award laureate, called the EU's Code of Practice an amazing product, a model for how to govern powerful technologies responsibly. Others, however, are sounding the alarm. Critics warn that heavy compliance burdens, especially for smaller startups and fast-moving innovators, could drive AI development out of Europe. As one anonymous source told the Wall Street Journal, some companies may find the EU's regulations too restrictive. Ryan Thierer of the R Street Institute notes that states like Texas and Virginia are actively steering away from Europe's heavy-handed approach, opting instead for pro-growth policies that prioritize innovation and flexibility. The implications go far beyond just the tech giants. Financial services firms, fintech startups, and even small AI-driven companies now face a stark choice: master the complexities of EU compliance and gain access to Europe's vast market, or risk being locked out entirely. For fintechs in particular, the EU AI Act introduces new standards for transparency, data protection, and non-discrimination, meaning that the algorithms behind credit scoring, loan approvals, and insurance pricing must be meticulously documented and regularly audited for bias. The European Insurance and Occupational Pensions Authority has already warned that insurers must ensure their AI systems do not produce discriminatory outcomes based on gender, race, age, or disability. These are not abstract requirements. They are real-world mandates with real penalties. For the world's leading AI firms, the stakes are equally high. If they refuse to sign on to the Code of Practice, will the EU become a global leader in responsible AI, setting the tone for the rest of the world? Or will Europe become an isolated island, watching as innovation and investment flow to the United States, China, or other regions with more relaxed rules? As the Code of Practice's launch date draws near August the 2nd, to be precise, one burning question hangs in the air. Will Europe's strict, rights-based approach to AI regulation shape the future of global technology? Or will it backfire and fracture the tech world into islands of incompatible standards, stifling innovation and competition? Let's dig deeper into what the future might hold as the EU AI Act and its new Code of Practice begin to reshape the playing field, not just for European companies, but for every AI developer on the planet. One possible scenario is that the EU's tough standards become a new gold standard for responsible AI worldwide. Imagine a world where global players like OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft, after careful deliberations, decide to sign on to the voluntary code. The pressure on other companies would be immense. In effect, the EU's rules would become the default benchmark, forcing AI firms everywhere to prioritize transparency, copyright compliance, and robust risk management, not just in Europe, but in every market they hope to enter. This could trigger a race to the top, where ethical and trustworthy AI becomes a competitive advantage, not a regulatory burden. Supporters of this vision point to the EU's past successes,
Recall the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, which took effect in 2018. Initially met with skepticism, it has since become a global template for data protection and privacy. Companies from California to Singapore now design their products with GDPR compliance in mind. Henna Virkkunen of the European Commission believes the new AI code of practice could repeat this pattern, describing it as an important step in making the most advanced AI models safe and transparent.
But there's another, more cautious scenario. Critics argue that the EU's rules, backed by eye-watering penalties of up to 7% of global revenue or up to 35 million euros per violation, could drive smaller innovators out of the European market entirely. An unnamed source in TechReg warns that heavy compliance burdens could push AI development elsewhere. Imagine a world in which the most promising AI startups, faced with the daunting prospect of EU compliance, simply choose to launch their breakthroughs in the United States, Asia, or emerging markets with more flexible rules. The risk is a divided tech world, with different standards, fragmented markets, and reduced competition. There is already evidence of this fragmentation. In the United States, a proposed federal moratorium on state-level AI regulation was recently dropped from a federal budget bill, opening the door for a wave of state-level laws. Texas, for example, has a new AI law taking effect on January 1, 2026, which bans certain harmful uses of AI and creates a state AI council to support innovation and oversight. Unlike Europe, Texas is deliberately sidestepping strict, preventative regulation in favor of supporting business growth and flexibility.
Virginia is taking a similar path.
Ryan Thierer of the R Street Institute observes that these states are steering away from European-style AI regulation. Will this patchwork approach slow down innovation or spark a creative race to build safer, more ethical AI? On one hand, differing standards may force companies to develop region-specific versions of their AI models, increasing costs and complexity. On the other, the competitive pressure could encourage firms to innovate in both compliance and technical excellence. The stakes are global. AI is at the center of international trade, cross-border data flows, and the digital economy. The EU AI Act is also shaping international conversations about AI governance. Recently, the EU, United States, and United Kingdom, alongside other countries, signed a landmark AI safety treaty, aiming to align AI systems with democratic values and human rights. International standards, such as ISO IEC 42001, are emerging to guide the development of AI management systems. The EU's single, preventative regulatory framework stands as a counterpoint to the United States' sector-specific, decentralized approach. Now, let's get practical. What does all this mean for you? Whether you're a business leader, a developer, a policymaker, or just a tech-savvy citizen curious about the future. First, for companies large and small, the EU AI Act is much more than another set of bureaucratic hurdles. It is a blueprint for how advanced technology can be harnessed safely, ethically, and in line with society's values. Early and proactive compliance is no longer optional if you want to reach European customers. Firms that invest now in building transparent, well-documented, and ethically sound AI products will not only avoid legal headaches, but may also gain a powerful reputational edge. The Code of Practice provides practical tools, a model documentation form, risk management guidance, and clear copyright protocols that can help companies chart a safe course through regulatory waters.
For individuals, Europe's regulatory push means that the AI systems behind your favorite apps, news feeds, and financial products will be under much closer scrutiny. The goal is to ensure your data are protected, your rights are respected, and that you are not being manipulated by hidden algorithms or opaque decision-making systems. The promise is technology that puts people first, AI, that enhances human potential without sacrificing privacy or fairness.
For innovators and entrepreneurs, the lesson is unmistakable. The rules of the game for AI are changing, and fast. Those who move quickly to build ethical considerations and transparency into their products may not just survive, but thrive in a world where digital trust is a key competitive advantage. Conversely, those who ignore the shifting regulatory landscape may find themselves locked out of lucrative markets, saddled with compliance costs, or exposed to legal risks. But there's another layer to the story, a hidden secret that savvy companies are already exploiting. While the Code of Practice may appear, at first glance, to be just another piece of paperwork, firms that sign on enjoy real benefits. They face lower administrative burdens and enjoy greater legal certainty.
an edge that could prove decisive as other regions introduce their own rules and enforcement ramps up. In a world of increasing regulatory complexity, the ability to demonstrate compliance quickly and efficiently is a valuable asset. Looking ahead, the next 2 years will be critical. Enforcement of the EU AI Act will begin for new AI models in 2026 and for existing models in 2027. During this time, we'll see which companies choose to sign on to the Code of Practice, how many decide to exit the European market, and whether consumers truly reap the benefits of safer, smarter, and more transparent AI. The EU's bold experiment could set the tone for global AI governance, making ethical AI the default everywhere. Or, if the compliance burden proves too heavy, we might see a fractured world, with innovation hubs shifting away from Europe and the dream of unified global standards slipping out of reach. So let's bring it back to you. What do you think? Will Europe's regulatory gamble pay off, ushering in a new era of responsible, trustworthy artificial intelligence? Or will the world's brightest minds choose to innovate elsewhere, leaving Europe to watch from the sidelines? The answer, as always, is still being written. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of global economics, technology,